there's a trick that costs less than $2. It uses a material you can buy at any pet store, any aquarium supply shop, or any pharmacy. You put it inside a sock, you slide it under your car seat, and within 48 hours, the smell that has been living in your car for months disappears. Not masked, not covered with a pine tree air freshener that gives you a headache, destroyed. At the molecular level, cigarette smoke, mildew from a leaking sunroof, the ghost of fast food that seems permanently embedded in the upholstery, wet dog, sour milk that spilled 6 months ago and fermented into something that makes passengers roll down the windows in January. All of it, gone. $2, one sock. And the car smells like the day it left the factory. This is not a hack. This is adsorption science. The material is activated carbon, and it has been used for odor elimination since the ancient Egyptians discovered that charred wood purified water. By the 1700s, European chemists understood that heated carbon could strip gases and dissolved impurities from the air. By World War I, activated carbon was the primary filtering agent in military gas masks. By the 1950s, every used car dealership in America had a bag of it hidden somewhere in the shop. Not to sell, to use. Because a car that smells clean sells for $1,000 more than one that does not. And the cheapest way to make a car smell clean was never an air freshener. It was a material that actually removes the odor molecules from the air. Then someone in a corporate boardroom did the math. The automotive air freshener market generates over $5 billion annually worldwide. Car detailing odor removal services charge between $100 and $400 per vehicle. A $2 bag of activated carbon that permanently eliminates odors at the molecular level does not complement those markets. It erases them. And what erases a $5 billion market does not get an end cap display at the auto parts store. It gets buried in the aquarium aisle where car owners never think to look. Welcome to Forbidden Fix. If these stories matter to you, hit subscribe and the bell. This is where we dig up what industries spent decades trying to erase. To understand why activated carbon destroys odors while air fresheners only mask them, you need to understand what an odor actually is and how the two approaches interact with it at completely different levels of chemistry. An odor is a volatile organic compound, a molecule light enough to evaporate from its source material and travel through the air until it reaches the olfactory receptors in your nose. Cigarette smoke odor comes from a cocktail of over 7,000 chemical compounds, including nicotine, tar residues, benzene derivatives, and formaldehyde, many of which bond to fabric, foam, and plastic surfaces and continue off-gassing for months or years. Mildew odor comes from microbial volatile organic compounds, the metabolic waste products of mold and bacteria growing in damp upholstery, carpet padding, or inside the HVAC evaporator housing. Food odors come from decomposing organic residues, releasing sulfur compounds, ammonia, and short-chain fatty acids. Every bad smell in your car is a specific molecule floating in the air. An air freshener does not remove these molecules. It adds more molecules on top of them. A pine-scented cardboard tree hanging from your mirror releases limonene and alpha-pinene, pleasant-smelling volatile compounds that stimulate different olfactory receptors than the stink molecules. Your brain processes both signals simultaneously, and the stronger pleasant signal partially overrides the weaker unpleasant one, but the stink molecules are still there. The nicotine is still off-gassing from the headliner. The mildew is still metabolizing in the carpet pad. The moment the air freshener's volatile compounds are depleted, usually within 2 to 4 weeks, the original odor returns at full strength. You buy another air freshener. The cycle never ends because it was never designed to end. Activated carbon works through a completely different physical process called adsorption. Not absorption. Adsorption. The distinction is critical. Absorption is when a substance is taken into the volume of another material, like a sponge soaking up water. Adsorption is when molecules bind to the surface of a material through intermolecular forces. Activated carbon is carbon that has been processed at extremely high temperatures, between 800 and 1100 degrees Celsius, in the presence of steam or carbon dioxide. This activation process creates an extraordinarily porous internal structure. A single gram of activated carbon has a surface area of between 800 and 1200 square meters. 1 tablespoon of activated carbon has roughly the surface area of a football field. That vast internal surface is covered with sites where van der Waals forces, weak intermolecular attractions, capture and hold organic molecules that pass through the material. When you place activated carbon in an enclosed space like a car interior, the volatile organic compounds that constitute the smell circulate through the air. As air moves past and through the carbon, odor molecules enter the microscopic pores and adhere to the carbon surface. They are physically trapped, removed from the air column. The concentration of odor molecules in the air decreases progressively. Within 24 to 48 hours in a sealed or semi-enclosed vehicle, the activated carbon has captured enough odor molecules to reduce the smell below the human detection threshold. The odor is not masked. It is physically absent from the air. Dry spent coffee grounds work through a similar but less efficient mechanism. Coffee grounds have a porous, carbon-rich structure and contain nitrogen compounds that form weak bonds with sulfur-based and ammonia-based odor molecules. They also contain residual oils that can absorb some volatile compounds. While not as effective per gram as commercially activated carbon, dried coffee grounds are a readily available and extremely cheap alternative. Used together, activated carbon and dry coffee grounds in separate containers provide complementary adsorption coverage across a wider range of odor molecule types. Before I go further, this video covers the basic odor elimination technique. Inside the Forbidden Fix vault, I have compiled complete vehicle odor elimination guides covering source identification, HVAC evaporator cleaning, headliner and carpet deep treatment, ozone alternative methods, and the exact protocols that professional auto detailers and used car dealers use to make a 10-year-old smoker's vehicle smell showroom fresh. The link is in the description. But stay right here because the economics of the car odor industry are the part designed to keep you buying fresheners forever. Used car dealerships discovered activated carbon's effectiveness in the 1940s and 1950s, when the post-war used car boom created intense competition. Dealers needed to turn inventory quickly, and odor was the #1 deal breaker for potential buyers. Professional detailers of that era did not rely on spray fragrances. They placed activated charcoal in cloth bags throughout the vehicle interior, closed the windows, and left the car sealed for 24 to 48 hours. The result was a genuinely clean-smelling interior that did not trigger suspicion the way an overwhelming air freshener scent does. A car that smells like nothing is more convincing than a car that smells like artificial vanilla. The technique was so effective that it became standard dealer practice. And it was never shared with consumers because a consumer who can eliminate odors for $2 is a consumer who does not pay $200 for a professional odor treatment. The automotive air freshener market thrives on repeat purchases. The average car air freshener lasts 2 to 4 weeks. At $3 to $5 per unit, a consumer who replaces their air freshener monthly spends roughly $40 to $60 per year, masking an odor that $2 of activated carbon would eliminate permanently. Multiplied across hundreds of millions of vehicle owners globally, this recurring purchase model generates over $5 billion annually. Professional odor removal services using ozone generators, enzyme treatments, or thermal fogging charge $100 to $400 per treatment. These services use chemistry that is effective but grossly overpriced relative to the material cost. A bag of activated carbon costs less than $2 at any aquarium supply store. The same product that pet stores sell for fish tank filtration is the same product that eliminates car odors. Same material, same chemistry, different aisle, different price perception. If you have made it this far, you understand adsorption science better than 99% of car owners hanging a $3 cardboard tree from their rearview mirror and wondering why their car still smells underneath the fake pine. Subscribe and share. One share is one fewer person trapped in the air freshener repurchase cycle. Here is exactly how to do it. Step 1. Purchase activated carbon. Aquarium supply stores sell it in bags or bulk for approximately $2 to $5 for 8 to 16 ounces. Alternatively, purchase activated charcoal capsules from a pharmacy and open the capsules. Step 2. Place approximately half a cup of activated carbon into a breathable container. An old, clean sock works perfectly. A small mesh bag, a cheesecloth pouch, or a perforated container all work. Step 3. Place the container under the driver's seat, under the passenger seat, or in the rear footwell, out of sight. Step 4. For severe odors, place a second container in the trunk or cargo area and a third on the dashboard near the windshield. Step 5. Close all windows. If possible, leave the car sealed for 24 to 48 hours without driving. The sealed environment maximizes the concentration gradient that drives odor molecules toward the carbon. Step 6. After 48 hours, the odor should be dramatically reduced or eliminated. Leave the carbon in place permanently as a passive filtration system. It will continue adsorbing odor molecules for weeks to months. Step 7. For a complementary effect, place a second breathable container filled with dry used coffee grounds alongside the activated carbon. The coffee grounds capture different odor molecule families than the carbon alone. Step 8. Replace the activated carbon every 2 to 3 months or when you notice any odor returning. Total cost, approximately $2 per treatment. Compare that to the $200 professional ozone treatment or the $60 per year in disposable air fresheners that never actually fixed anything. I need to be honest with you. Activated carbon adsorbs odor molecules from the air, but it does not remove the source. If the odor is coming from mold growing inside the HVAC evaporator housing, the mold must be treated directly with an antimicrobial spray, or the evaporator must be cleaned. If milk or organic material has soaked into the carpet padding and is actively decomposing, the padding may need to be removed and replaced. Activated carbon can only capture what is in the air. It cannot pull molecules out of fabric or foam. for deep source contamination like heavy cigarette smoke that has permeated the headliner, sun visors, and seat foam over years of exposure, activated carbon will reduce the ambient odor significantly but may not eliminate it completely without supplemental source treatment. In extremely humid environments, moisture can reduce activated carbon's adsorption capacity because water molecules compete for binding sites. Keep the interior as dry as possible for maximum effectiveness. In the 1950s, every used car lot in America had a secret weapon. It was not a spray, it was not a plug and fragrance diffuser, it was a $2 bag of charcoal hidden under the seat. The car smelled clean because the car was clean, molecularly clean. Then the consumer products industry realized they could sell the illusion of clean for $3 every 2 weeks instead of selling actual clean for $2 once. They wrapped fragrance chemicals in a cardboard tree shape, hung it from the mirror, and called it a solution. The odor was still there. The air freshener just shouted louder. There was not a better product. There was just a product with a better repurchase rate. Subscribe and share. Every share preserves what they tried to erase. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside might show you why the product under your kitchen sink costs 40 times more than the ingredient it is made from.